How about that? The Oilers with a 6-3 victory in Florida to close out an epically long 7-game road trip. We're here to break it all down on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. What's up, everybody? Tom Gazzola with you alongside Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, is just about ready to go. And you got Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. You can text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat as well. Let us know your thoughts on Edmonton's victory against the Florida Panthers. I would feel as if people are generally quite happy with the performance and the result tonight. 3-1 on this road trip. So, post-game show brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine components experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. I'm going to just give a shout-out to the Nasties who are all around here, who are fantastic tonight. Shout-out to the Nasties. Let's go. Let's go. That's Nasty Tara. She's been nicknamed Nasty Tara. Tara's Tap. DVD, they've endeared themselves.
Yes, they've been in good form all night.
They have been in good form all night, just like the Edmonton Oilers. Just really quickly, we'll get to you and Betty, and then we'll bring Cass in. Hey, that's a great result, but what do you make of the process?
It was a great result, and, you know, they needed that game. Now they come back 500 on the road trip. It was a great result for the Oilers. I thought they were going to come out and play inspired hockey. I think everyone knew that, you know, they still have a grudge last year from losing, obviously, in the Stanley Cup final. They weren't too happy the way Florida celebrated the Stanley Cup final. So they were going to come in here. They had a day of rest, and they're going to give it their best effort to, you know, makes that long flight home a little better.
5 hours.
After a win. So, yeah, it was a good effort for them, probably the best effort on the road. And so it was excellent. And I think you look at the situation, you look at the contributions that the Oilers got throughout the lineup, and that's what they needed. They got some toughness. They got some pushback. They had some energy. So I think it was all those things wrapped up into what was a really long and at times really frustrating road trip. It was actually a good way to end it. And they're coming back, what is it, 3-3-1. So
3-3-1.
That works out well. If they had left and said we're coming back 3-3-1, they probably would have been very happy with that.
That's a fair point. Benny Thomson, let's hear from you, and then let's get Cass in here.
Yeah, I mean, just that was a huge win. Like, as much as it's a regular season game in November, against the team that's beaten you in the Stanley Cup final back-to-back years, to go out and to win in the way you did, to me was clear. You know, you take a lead early in the game. There's rough stuff. You answer the bell. You hang on to win. The Panthers had, you know, their jump in the second and third period with some chances, but the Oilers bended but didn't break, and they ended up holding on and getting that W. It's massive for this group. It seems like they carried on their effort from Tampa into Florida tonight. That's two very solid efforts from the Oilers these past two games. I'm satisfied is what I'll say. I'm not ecstatic, but I'm satisfied.
Oh, okay. I like it. Benny Thomson there back at EST Global HQ. All right, let's welcome him in. Matt Kassian, our game analyst. Cass was looking for a few things going into tonight's game. On Game Changers, Cass said he wanted to see how they handled fragility. He wanted to see Clattenburg, and then he wanted some rage, DVD.
Yep.
And Cass, how would you assess what we saw, considering what you brought up on Game Changers earlier today?
Yeah, I got a little nervous when Florida started making that pushback. Looked like a little bit of shaky in their game later on. Overall, though, they still do manage to hold on. Connor McDavid with a great play to seal it with that empty netter. Clattenburg, didn't play that many minutes. We didn't expect him to play that many minutes. At least he was engaged when he was out there, which I thought was great. You know, gets a little shot from Gurr at the end, but was at least involved, which was a solid thing. And overall, I thought they did play a little angry. Like, it looked like a team. And now I know Tampa, they were. I mean, is it weird, guys? And correct me if I'm wrong, or give me your own opinions. But they did play like a desperate team for the most part, even when they were winning tonight. Like, it kind of had that feel to it, as opposed to, and you know, I'll include Tampa in this, but prior to this, in this road trip, where it was just kind of kind of ho-hum with a lot of the games? Like, did it feel like that, guys? Because it kind of felt like they had some of that emotion, a little bit of that rage, but a lot more of the desperation and urgency tonight.
Yeah, I think they did. And you know what? If I'm coaching the Oilers, all I'm doing to get this team fired up is playing some of the clips of the celebrations that Florida had last year and after the playoffs.
That's hard.
You know, I'm playing, the Pink Pony Club song and making fun of the team. And that they were fired up. Now, another thing, too, Clattenburg was brought up. He's got a lot of energy, but I think everyone was excited for the kid. He's playing his first NHL game, and that kind of lifts everyone as well.
Yep.
You needed to inject some sort of enthusiasm, and sometimes giving a kid an opportunity to play his first NHL game, it rises the entire bench, so you can tell that they were excited about that. And I thought Trent Frederic played one of his best games. He needed him to be involved.
The bar was low.
Yeah, the bar was low, but he had a really good game in Tampa, and obviously he needed to kind of be involved, and you know that they were really leaning on him to kind of match that grit that the Florida Panthers. They play with that grit and that intensity and that, they borderline dirtiness. And I think the Oilers needed to match that. And I think Trent Frederic, they said to him, that's why we got you. You need to match that. You need to be there. He got involved early. I thought he was involved throughout the game. And I thought he had a really good game. But yeah, there was a lot of energy on this team. There's a lot, there's a lot to play for. You go back in there, you get that first opportunity to play these guys again after all that happened last summer and all that happened the summer before. You better be fired up to play this team, because if you're not fired up, then obviously there's something wrong.
And I wonder.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Cass.
I just want to ask you guys, because I wonder how much of Frederic's game tonight is boosted by Clattenburg being there. Like, is that a shot across his bow in some ways? Not that he's going anywhere. I mean, guy's got a 30-year contract, but like, do you think bringing a guy up like that is kind of a little bit of a message to Frederic in any ways?
Good point, Cass. I mean, Clattenburg had 16 pro hockey games under his belt. 16.
Yeah.
Trent Frederic's been in the league for 6 years now?
No.
Maybe there is a bit of that, hey, wake up, pal, because you're faltering. I didn't even think of that going into the game.
No, that's a great point.
Don't you think?
We needed to inject energy in the lineup. Let's bring up a kid that's played 16 games.
Right.
When Trent Frederic is supposed to be your energy guy. Yeah, that's a shot across his bow. You were not getting the energy we need from you. So we got to bring someone up to kind of fire up with the bench and fire up everybody, because that's your job. I totally agree with you there, Cass. I think that was a really good point that, hey, if I'm Trent Frederic, I'm like, man, they're bringing up a 20-year-old to bring some energy, which that's my job. I'm supposed to do that. So I think it was, and it might have lit a fire under someone to say, hey, you got to get it going here. This is what we need from you. You don't have to contribute on the scoreboard every day, but you have to make yourself known or seen or get involved in things like that. You have to be our energy guy. And I think that's a great point. Maybe it is a wake-up call to say, hey, we shouldn't be bringing up 20-year-olds to do the job that we're asking you to do.
Yeah. I love that point, Cass, and we should have caught on to that earlier, but interesting, and I think there's some merit there. Benny Thomson, really quick, do you want to chime in on that? What do you make of what Cass brought up? Because I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's to me, Trent Frederic was, maybe it was Clattenburg. Maybe it was scoring in Tampa. You know what I mean? Like maybe it was just seeing one go in. He's got 2 goals, and attaboy, 2 socks.
Those 2 socks.
But honestly, I think the gears are starting to turn for him, and maybe it was Clattenburg getting called up. Maybe he just wanted a bash, bro. I mean, who knows? Like he wanted another guy to do some of the hitting with him. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Great reference to Hello Hockey from earlier today. Tremendous episode, by the way.
And so honestly, he was out there hitting guys. I love the scrappy stuff he got himself into. Even just outside of the physical stuff, he was making plays. He looked more confident tonight than I think we've seen all year from him, and maybe even going back to last year too. So it's a good sign right now. Obviously, it's been 2 games for him. But a lot can be said in those 2 games. So we'll see if he turns it around. But it's starting to look a little bit better. It's looking a little bit more sunnier when we're talking about Trent Frederic.
Hernan Deman, the Latino Heat, was in the nasty chat earlier in the show and said, "Are the Oilers back?" Could they be DVD? I know you got to file a post-game story, so we're going to just bug you for a few minutes.
You know what? They finished the road trip. I don't think we can look too far ahead because, it's always tough to come back and play your first home game after a long road trip. And like historically, the Oilers have always faltered in the first game back from a long road trip. So are they back? I don't know. Can they play with this intensity every night? Can they bring this energy every night? We don't know, but I think this is a good start. It's a good building block. They got this trip out of the way. It's a massive trip. It was always going to be a tough back-to-back. It was always going to be a tough going into Florida to finish this out. And I think they got to be happy, and it's going to be, it's going to be a long plane ride home, but it's going to be a happy plane ride home. And it won't be one of those that you're just shaking your head and, falling further into the hole. So I think they're going to be happy with this road trip. Anytime you come back 500 on a road trip, you're going to be happy. And so now it's just a matter of building on this and now trying to work your way back up the standings.
Front page of NHL.com tonight. They're going to be happy with the road trip. Derek Van Diest byline. Yeah. Thank you, DVD, for hopping on. Appreciate you coming by. There you go. Derek Van Diest, NHL.com. He's doing great work covering Western Canadian teams based out of Edmonton, and our dear friend here at EST. All right, keep those texts coming in. I'm going to read off a bunch of them. 780-218-9999. Jump into the text line or the nasty chat, I should say. We're having a great time here at Boston Pizza 170th. Big thanks to Tony and Curtis for having us. As always, the lovely staff here has been great. We gave away a Christian McCaffrey jersey, boys, as the grand prize tonight, among many other great prizes at BP 170th. All right. Cass, they got a gift, I would say, from Sergei Bobrovsky to get things going. How much does that boost a team desperate for a win, coming off a heartbreaking loss, looking to salvage something on a tough trip? When you get a softie like that and you're used to softies going in the other end of the rink, how much of a boost is that for a team?
Well, I think you nailed it when you said you're used to them going in on your own end, and having it go in on Bobrovsky feels great. You play Vasilevsky, who makes some fantastic saves. You can't find a way to score. And now all of a sudden you have one that just goes in. I think having it early too was huge. That to me was a big boost to the team. Like getting it done early with a bad bounce, going your way instead of going against you, I think was massive. So I think just a confidence builder where it was, this isn't a team that's played with the lead a ton this year, let alone on this road trip. So I thought that was a big moment for them. Yes, not a great goal, but hey, even really good goalies sometimes let in those bad ones.
At the other end of the rink, guys, Stu Skinner, what did we think? I thought it would be Calvin Pickard tonight, but that wasn't the case. Go ahead, Benny, and Cass, your thoughts, please.
I kind of had a feeling that they'd go to Stu just because I think they want to give Stu another run at this team that's beat them in the Stanley Cup final back-to-back games. And I think it's also a sense of like they want to show confidence in Stu, even though maybe it's not as warranted this year. But like I can't really critique him tonight necessarily. Like, I mean, there was a couple of stuff like maybe he would have liked to glove a one shot here or whatever and freeze it, but like to me, honestly, I like a lot of the breakdowns from the Oilers today, or that led to Panthers goals, comes from their decor, right? And we know with Stu Skinner, he's not one of those goalies that, or at least very often, is going to bail them out. So I didn't think Stu was a problem tonight, and it ended up being the right call. I think for Knobloch, he got Pickard some rest. I'm curious about who they go with against Dallas on Tuesday. I think they probably go back to Stu again, but I mean, who knows? Maybe they alternate. But yeah, I didn't mind his game tonight at all. You didn't cost the team, but you also didn't play outstanding or anything.
Cass, really quickly, 921 save percentage, 35 saves on 38 shots.
Good night. Yep. It was a good night for him.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to trade for 8 goalies, as some people seem to think we can do.
Well said. Well said. I don't know if I mentioned it when you were on specifically, but yeah, no, you heard my Uncle Diego was like, I like when Cass did the voice of the fans and said, oh, you could Colorado trade 2 goalies in last season. So I thought that was pretty funny and thought I'd bring it up again. All right, let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. This one comes in, says it's from Library Pat. Maybe it was Frederic's goal last game that's given him a boost. He played really well today. I'm glad to see the team trending upwards at the end of the long trip and to get a saw-off points-wise, which DVD just said was better than me. This one from Doesn't Sign Text, guys. When Nugent Hopkins comes back, you have 3 lines that you need to roll with how it is set up now. And I don't know what the timeline is for Nugent Hopkins, but do we have a semblance of lines, guys? Do we think we have something that may stay beyond a period or even a game? Might I stretch it to a game? What do we think?
No.
I mean, maybe it stretches a period, but no.
No. I to me, like you had a line in Roslovic, Podkolzin, and Draisaitl, and he was willing to break that up too. So I mean, at what point, like, to me, there's no line. They could play well for as long as they possibly are to put together. To me, there's no way that it sticks for a full season. Unless, honestly, I think unless it's Nuge, McDavid, Hyman, I think that'll be their constant default that they'll go to. But yeah, I don't think there's set lines. I don't think you could count on that with Knobloch as coach.
I can't disagree with that, to be honest with you guys. All right, let's get to a few more texts. The Oilers 6-3 winners in Florida. This one says, good resilience tonight. Good way to end the road trip. Plus, there is a nice girl over your shoulder, Tommy. Yes, that is Tara. She is part of the Nasties that are here tonight and very popular for some reason among everybody watching. Benny, she's lovely. You got to meet her, right?
Yeah.
She's here with Barry. Yeah, here with Barry, and she's Tamara the Wig Lady's sister. So there you go. And by the way, we had a great group of listeners and viewers. Our Nasties today were tremendous. I think it was close to like 20 that showed up, loud and proud all night long. Big Uke leading the charge as he does. So he feels very, very comfortable here at Boston Pizza 170th. I heard a rumor that sometimes he even pours beers behind the bar every now and then. Let's go to Dirty Kurt. He says, solid win against their C squad. Yes, the Panthers are a banged-up bunch. We know that. Connor's presence, Connor Clattenburg's presence sent a message. It's unfortunate a 20-year-old rookie can show more dirt than most of his sleepy team. Skinner battled, wasn't clean at all, but found a way. Knobloch has to find a way to play Connor and Leon less. They looked gas. Let's turn this Titanic around. Cheers. Our Greer suckers will be met with fury next time. We met all hail Connor Clattenburg, Dirty Curdy, who's calling him Connor Glatt, and I think that's in reference to Doug Glatt from Goon, if I'm not mistaken. This one, I'm gonna read it, and I'll let you guys interpret it how you want. Oilers got like 17% on the deserve to win-o-meter. Haha. Go for it. Whoever wants it.
17?
17.
Man, it's a little low. I mean, it was way over 17%. I thought they were in the 50s. They were in the 50s. Like they were in the 50s. Yep. Somewhere between 50 and 60. I don't know exactly where.
This felt a lot like the Tampa game, except just more goals went in for the Oilers, mainly just because Bobrovsky wasn't as good.
Right.
It kind of felt like it was another game where it's like, hey, either team can have won. This time the Oilers come out on top, mainly just because Bobrovsky kind of let them down in Florida. But yeah, and again, I think it was just 2 solid efforts from the Oilers in back-to-back games here.
All right, let's get to a few more texts. 780-218-9999. This one from Doesn't Sign Text guy says, I think top 6 should stay. Play Nuge and Hyman on the third line matchups. All right. Evan Bouchard, guys. How is his game coming around? He made a couple of nice plays. The guys in the intermission were highlighting him and saying he was making some brilliant plays. I thought Kevin Bieksa actually made a great point that, yes, he can make brilliant offensive plays, but it's the defensive lapses that crush him. And then, again, they brought up the whole Team Canada thing, which I think that idea is thrown out the window.
Yeah, oh, no, he's not playing on Team Canada. Not a chance. Ends up +5 tonight. Him and Ekholm, that's an okay night. It helps your confidence. A good way to end the road trip for him. 3 apples. Some of that I think were the second 2 both on empty netters. I think one. I know one was. Listen, Evan Bouchard is always going to be polarizing for this Oilers fan base. He has struggled mightily at the start of this season. We have also seen him in the playoffs play incredibly well. That when he does lock it down defensively and still give you offensively some of that magic that he is capable of, he's an effective, great player. And we saw flashes of that tonight. He just hasn't done it consistently enough this year to even be remotely in the consideration for Team Canada. I mean, that ship has sailed, as it were.
Benny, you want to jump on that one or no?
I'd like to highlight. I'm like Cass said, like it's been about the defensive lapses with Bouchard, and that's what's going to cost him his job in the Olympics, right? I don't know if this should be a job position in the Olympics, but tonight, man, I mean, he showed flashes of why the Oilers paid him that money, and whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Those type of on the offensive zone, the defenseman that can make the plays that Bouchard makes make that type of money. He's got shore up his defensive side, which I thought tonight I didn't see too many gas from him. So again, I feel like his game is turning around since that benching he had against Columbus. I think it's coming around even with the Oilers losing a couple games here. I feel like his play has been pretty solid. So I'm happy to see Bouchard turn around a little bit.
Guys, Bouchard and Ekholm tonight. 6 points between the two of them, each of them with a 3-point night. Ekholm a goal and 2 assists. Bouchard 3 assists. Each of them +5, a combined +10 between the two. And Bouchard led the way among defensemen. Time on ice 22-13. Ekholm came in second at 20-37. I don't want to get too negative, but I want to. It's not too negative. It's an honest question. And this was a guy who had a really good training camp. People were curious to see how he would do. He looked all right. Obviously suffered a tough injury. Alec Regula, where is he in his trajectory and progress? Just eclipsed the 30-game mark in the National Hockey League. He's relatively young, coming off a significant knee injury. And I know Dusty on his show has at times been critical and saying, hey, this guy might, his ceiling is this, and Dusty in our EST chat brought a couple things up, and he might be right, but Alec Regula, is he hitting a bit of a wall here, Cass? What are you noticing from him? 16-22 time on ice, -1 with 2 hits was the stat line from Regula. But what are you seeing from him specifically in the D zone?
Yeah, he's been okay. Like he moves well at times. Like he's a decent skater. Positionally, I don't know. I wonder, he seems to be the type of guy. It's like, I wonder if he can put it all together at the same time, right? Like sometimes it's like, he seems like the skating's there, and then other times it's not. Sometimes those quick plays up the wall and the execution is there, and sometimes it's not. Defensive zone coverage. And even today, there was a couple of times where he's just a half step behind or a half step out of position. So it's coming along. I mean, it's early also. And I have to tell myself that, and I think we have to, with Regula. Like, this is still early in his career. 30 games is not a lot for a defenseman here in the NHL. So I think he's been all right. He's been okay. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in at this is his plateau, or he's only going to get a little bit better and that's it. Like, I don't know if I'm even ready to give it that yet. And part of that too is just like, it's only been 4 or 5 games since he came back. So it's kind of tricky still in the small sample size to know exactly what there is there.
I saw a text come in from, I think it was Zedmo. Zedmo said, I like that they rolled all 7D. Just a quick note. Jake Wallman injured, did not play, and they went 12-6 tonight against the Florida Panthers. So good that, actually, if you look at the time on ice for the defenseman, it was pretty respectable. 22-12, like I said, for Bouchard, 20-37 for Ekholm. Nurse at 18-33. Kulak at 19.55, Emerson at 19.18, and Regula, who we were just talking about, at 16.22. By the way, your stats for tonight: shots on goal 38-31 in favor of the Panthers. Face-off percentage 52.1% to 47.9 in favor of Florida. Power play for the Oilers 0 for 2, PK 2 for 3, hits 30-20 in favor of Florida. Block shots 13-10 in favor of the Oil. Giveaways 14 officially for Florida, 13 for Edmonton. 4 takeaways for the Panthers, 3 for the Oilers. The numbers that matter, though: 6 for Edmonton, 3 for the Panthers. The Oilers improved to 10, 9, and 5 on the season. You can text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat over on YouTube. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the Oilers' victory in Florida, 3-1 on this 7-game road trip? And now we'll take on the Dallas Stars Tuesday night. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Ben Thomson with you. Dirty Curdy also wants to pass along a hello to Derek Van Diest. And we had a really good time here at Boston Pizza 170th. Guys, they're launching their Coors Light Sim Golf League here on December 8th. You can sign up starting November 28th on the Boston Pizza 170th Facebook page, and I think it's 10 rounds over 12 weeks, and that's the league, and you play them at your own pace. When you can come in here and play on the sim, take advantage, and they have a huge trophy. Also, Boston Pizza, today's the last day of Pizza for Ben. Proceeds going to the Ben Stelter Foundation when you buy a pizza at participating BP's locations. All right, guys, what else stood out to you that you really want to hit on? How much is this I don't know if you want to call it a slingshot for this team. Could you even call it that? This win kind of exercised some demons against the Florida Panthers, although it's a beat-up Panthers bunch. Like, how much does it enhance the psyche of the Oilers and make them feel good about themselves?
I mean, you're hopping on like a 6-hour, 7-hour, probably feels like 8-hour plane flight on the way home. So it's a heck of a good feeling to get that win, to finish the road trip on a positive note. It'll mean as much to this group as they let it mean to them. And what I mean by that is if they actually build on it, right? Like, it has potential to be that, even though, yes, Florida was banged up. Edmonton's banged up too. They're also injured and got a bunch of guys not at 100%. So I think it could be a building block. I'm not ready to say it is, because I said that the other day and then they sucked. So I'm just going to say it potentially is. And at the least, mentally, you pulled a 500 on the road trip and you finish it on a positive.
Ben Thomson.
Yeah, I think that it's been, obviously, to me, the benchmark for me for when I think to evaluate this Oilers team is after that Colorado loss. That Colorado loss was demoralizing, embarrassing. Obviously, getting to talk about it, just a ridiculous loss that a team that of this caliber cannot have. I was very curious to see how they would bounce back after that loss to Colorado. They paired it with some games where it was like you could tell they care and they're fighting, but it just wasn't clicking. And then there were a couple games where maybe there's a lack of effort, like the Washington game. Maybe some X's and O's were criticizing, but these past 2 games, it felt like that Tampa game was a solid one to build off of. And I'm not going to say that this Florida game necessarily confirms that was a change in what this season is, but they just seem like they're playing more as a team. They're playing for each other. I saw a quote like Pod Colson he fought Peyton Krebs in Buffalo, right? It was kind of fought him.
Yeah, it wasn't much a fight.
It wasn't a fight, but he kind of scrum, threw a punch here and there. He had a quote saying like no one plays like that with our captain, right? Because Krebs hit McDavid. Like, that's the type of things that I think we're starting to see more. And you saw Pod Colson sticking up for McDavid when he got hit. There's the rough stuff. I think you're starting to see this team play like a team, and just pair that with better effort. It's coming around. Who knows? Like it's the Edmonton Oilers. They can pair together a bunch of, I don't know, a 5-game losing streak out of nowhere. Who knows? This is the orange and blue we're talking about. But I've liked their effort the past 2 games. It's looking promising.
All right, let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. The Oilers taking on the Dallas Stars at home on Tuesday. This team hasn't been around Edmonton for a couple of weeks. And, hey, guys, the other thing, too, is they finally have a regulation win since early November, which is sad in a lot of ways. But, I mean, it's indicative of how the season has kind of gone thus far. Just a quick out-of-town scoring update. The Stars and the Flames just underway, and we'll get you up to speed. Devin Cooley between the pipes for the Calgary Flames, so we'll keep an eye on that one. All right, when these Oilers do take on the Dallas Stars, Cass, they had a tough game in Dallas where they lost in overtime. It was a back-to-back situation, the second game of a back-to-back, and it looked promising at times, but it slipped away for the Oil. What will the approach be like against a Dallas Stars team that's been cruising along quite nicely so far this season?
Yeah, well, it's a quick turnaround. And I know you can look at this and say, well, it's 2 days. That's a quick turnaround. You've just been on the road a long time. You've got a really long flight. Tomorrow's a write-off, right? It's going to be a day off. They're going to sleep all day. You're going to try to get some family stuff done. Maybe go into the rink on Monday, maybe for a light skate, depending on how guys are feeling. But I think you're just trying to get mentally past the trip. I mean, the positive thing about finishing on a positive is you finished on a positive. But
very positive.
Very, very positive. But you could also let that turn into a little bit of, taking too much of a deep breath when you get home, because Dallas is a very good team. They're a very good team. And they are going to know that Edmonton is still a vulnerable team emotionally. They're going to know that Edmonton just is coming back from a long trip. And I think, you're going to have to emotionally get yourself ready to go to war again. And that's something this team hasn't managed to do very well this year, is string games together. So, you had a decent game or a good game in Tampa. You lose in overtime. You have a pretty good game in Florida. You end up winning that. And, will we actually get the third game in a row of them playing decent hockey? I don't know. I certainly hope so. You're going to have to bring it. Dallas was a team that's dealt with a lot of injuries this year too. They're starting to get healthier, and they're starting to get better as they're getting healthier. So it's going to be a challenging game, and I think a big game for Edmonton. I mean, this is a team that's coming in here depending on what happens tonight. But as of right now, Dallas is 13-5-3. Like, they're one of the better teams in the West, and that doesn't surprise me at all. They've been absolutely fantastic on the road, and they've also been absolutely fantastic in the last 10 games as they've got more and more healthy.
Really quickly, guys, while we still have Cass, when the Panthers closed the gap to 4-3, and they scored those back-to-back goals, where was the worry meter in your mind at that point from an Oilers standpoint?
I was hitting like a 7. Like, I was pretty. I was like that. I talked about them being fragile, right? I was like, I thought they got that one to pull within one, and I'm like, this might be over. They might crumble. They might fall apart. And Florida kept pushing, and Edmonton sagged a little bit more. Skinner came up, I thought, big in that moment, because they did sag a little bit more. Florida was able to generate a couple of chances, but they managed to hold on just long enough for McDavid to score. But yeah, I was pretty concerned.
Benny Thomson.
Yeah, I was pretty high. Yeah, probably around the 7 mark too for myself. I was very curious to see how they would deal with a Florida Panthers team that has scored 2 goals to make it a 1-goal game, right? Like, this team has struggled to hold on to that lead pretty much all year, and against the Stanley Cup reigning 2-time Stanley Cup champions. I understand without some of the star players, it was going to be tough for them. It was going to be tough for them to hold on to that lead, but they ended up doing it, and it's a sign of courage for me that things are starting to turn around. Just good job. They handled business in Florida. Let's see if they can do it at home.
I have no idea what the hell is going on behind me and in the nasty chat, but I'm going to just take the high road and roll on. Cass, great work as always, my friend. Thank you for the breakdown. I look forward to seeing you next week.
See you, fellas.
There you go. There's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us break down the Oilers' 6-3 victory over the Florida Panthers. We want to hear from you. What satisfied you about the Oilers' win tonight? Is it just the fact that they got a shot back at the Panthers? And listen, it's nowhere near the Stanley Cup final in terms of intensity. The rosters are completely different. The injuries, as people have pointed out, are a factor. But Edmonton did end up getting the 2 points. I think it gives people a bit of satisfaction and a good taste in their mouth going home, as opposed to feeling like crap and being unhappy and disappointed in the team again. I think that goes a long way, and we'll see how much that adds to the gusto that the fans will have on Tuesday at Rogers Place when the Dallas Stars come to town. Still no score. Calgary just got its first shot. It's on the power play, and we are 6 minutes in, shot 6-1 in favor of the Dallas Stars, keeping tabs on one team that we'll see on Tuesday and another team that shares a province with us. And as I say that, Devin Cooley just makes a huge save on a breakaway on Sam Steele, because it doesn't matter. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
As Devin Cooley said, right? Like the classic line. People running with that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Benny, what do you want to point out?
There hasn't been, unless I missed it, a whole lot of talk about the first star tonight. Jack Roslovic with 2 goals. Are we becoming used to this performance from him? And if we are, that should say something. Like, is this just an expectation now that Roslovic is going to score, is going to have multi-goal games? Think about where we started with him, right? Some fans were really high on him, but I remember sitting in the studio and talking with Reed about how, I probably don't expect a whole lot. He's probably going to be a third liner. If he scores 10 to 15 goals for you, great. But just don't expect a whole lot from him. There's a reason why he was this late into signing. He went past training camp.
Right.
Look at him now. He's scoring big goals for them. Scored the first 2 tonight for Edmonton. His play has been really good, and I just feel like I just don't want to gloss over it, act like that's just regular play for him, because who knows, he could dip soon here, but he's been playing pretty damn good.
The scouting report when he signed here, and Hernan and Joaquin had him on EST afternoons, it was Aaron Portzline who said in Columbus you saw him peak and then the valley, and he'd go away, and he'd rise up again, play well, and there's a lot of peaks and valleys. It started out kind of quiet for Roslovic as he found his game, but he's ascended and he continues to stay at a pretty high level. I haven't seen too much of a dip from him so far in his time as an Oiler, so I think that's encouraging. Benny, so he picks up those 2 goals tonight, +1, 16-24 time on ice, 4 shots. Then you combine that with what he's done thus far this season through 22 games now. That's 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points. He's +2. Pretty good. Very encouraging. I like the idea of Jack Roslovic potentially staying in Edmonton, but I'm always a little bit leery, I think is the proper term here, of a guy who's hungry for his next contract and is playing at his best, high intensity, desperation in his game, which are all good things, but then gets that contract and gets fat and sassy, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then the play drops off because it's like, I'm getting my bag, I'm good. That to me is a concern, and it just always is, because we've seen it so many times throughout the course of the NHL and its history in the last few decades, at least from what I can remember. And, I would always paint Russian guys with that brush, and unfortunately a lot of them would do that. A lot of guys that were known as cherry pickers, a lot of guys, not just Russians, but there's been other guys, American guys, Canadian guys, where you're like, contract season, he's going to show up and then he's going to fade away and only be a star on periodic nights. And that has happened so many times. And when a guy's chasing a contract, that level of desperation stays high. And I think the Oilers are benefiting from Jack Roslovic kind of being in that zone, if you will. And I don't know, do you ride it out? Do you give him that extension and hope he keeps up this level and maintains it? What do you think?
That's why I'm sort of against giving him an extension mid-season. Just like you said, I have a worry that he will dip and he'll get comfortable, right? This is, to me, there is no higher peak than what Roslovic is playing at right now. To me, this is the absolute best you're going to get from Jack Roslovic, which is fine. He's been nothing but incredible. And when this team has been bad, he has been a rare bright spot with this team. But like you were saying, like he could there's definitely a chance he gets fat and sassy with how you called it. I look at, I'm not going to say this guy was bad in his final, I think it was 3 years of his deal, but I mean, look at how Evander Kane played for his contract here. Like that was quite the performance. Right?
Good reminder.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. He was excellent.
He was incredible on that playoff run and even the regular season going into that playoff run. And obviously, once again, I'm not going to say Evander Kane was bad here, but it definitely took a dip, rightfully so. And the Oilers end up having to move off his contract in the final year, right? So, if they extend him, let's say Roslovic continues his play, and it goes into January, and they extend him January 10 to a 3-year deal at $4.5 million, let's say. I'm okay with it. It will raise my concern a little bit of like you were saying, will he dip? Will he kind of fall back into this? Oh, all right, I got my money, I got my contract. Because this is the most motivated he's ever going to be. He went deep into the summer, literally past training camp, to get his contract after he thought he could make double what he's making here in Edmonton. So his motivation's very high, but we'll see if this good play continues throughout the year.
You know who else went through that was Zach Kassian in recent memory. Remember, he was hungry, playing well. There was like these comparisons to like a quasi Tom Wilson at the time. Can Zach Kassian maintain that physical edge and then add a little bit of offense? Got his contract, and a lot of people still bring it up and be like, that was a bad contract that Kenny Holland gave to Zach Kassian. And that one is one they had to shed. They fired him off into Arizona, and then, a couple of years later, his career was over. So those are two examples in recent memory. We'll see where this goes, but right now with Roslovic, it's been absolutely tremendous. Good signing. 2 thumbs up all the way, and we'll see where this saga goes, if you will. Penner's Pancake says, great point, Benny. So well said, Ben, as always. All right, let's get you to the turning point of the game, presented by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Now, it was big when the Oilers built up that lead. One of the rare times this season that they've scored more than 3 goals. I think that's just the 7th time this season through 24 games that they have done so. It was good when they had the 4-1 lead. Then you saw Mackie Samoskevich get his 3rd, and then Sam Reinhart 3 minutes later picking up his 12th. That was a power play marker. I thought the Oilers did a good job after the 13:30 mark of the second period to hang on to the lead. They didn't stop playing. Their feet were still moving. It felt to me, Benny, like they were still aggressive and kept it pedal to the metal. It seems like, and you could point back to that game against the Tampa Bay Lightning as well, where we said, hey, there was progress there, and they looked engaged. And I thought even though the Panthers got those goals to cut the lead to just 1, I thought Edmonton's response was pretty good. So I'm going to say at 13:30, when Sam Reinhart scored to make it 4-3 on the power play, Edmonton stayed steady on the rudder, as some would say, and didn't just back off and were not fragile, and stayed strong and managed to hang on to a lead and then add a couple of empty netters, Connor McDavid and Matt Savoy picking those up. So I will give it to the 13:30 mark, where the Oilers collectively buckled down, held the fort, got some saves from Stu Skinner, helped them out around the crease. They got feisty. They were tenacious. We saw some skirmishes and scrums. So I'm going to say that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Norm at a Combine, who had the whole Combine crew out tonight. Good to see Sticky Rice. Good to see Norm. Good to see Garen and Bryce and Brody. Said good night at BP's. Thank you, guys. Hashtag Combine crew. Also, we had a Jason Strudwick jersey here tonight. We had a Brad Malone jersey here tonight. I text Struddy. I said, look what Garen found at Value Village. And he was just kidding, of course. And then Strutty loved that. And then I text Bugsy, who was Bryce wearing the Malone jersey. I said, Bugsy in the wild. And he says, that's so rare. A couple of good guys being represented in orange and blue by some Hardy fans who came out tonight. Shout out to the Combine crew and everybody else who's here. I have no clue. I don't even want to look behind me, Ben. I just know that the Nasties are having a little Saturday, and it's been a lot of fun. So shout out to everyone. I know Tara has become quite popular.
Yep.
Behind me, you met her. She's lovely. And there's Tube Socks, and then Tamara. The Wig Lady's here. Barry's here. There's Oil Tin. There's Cal in the Park. Trying to see if Big Uke is somewhere in there. And we've got Twitter Mary and Dave. Good to see Twitter Mary and Dave here. They're hanging out, having a good time. It's been a lot of fun. And then Tony and Curtis and Mariah and Sarah and Shay and Jess, always fantastic hosts here at Boston Pizza 170th. Today's the last day of pizza for Ben, by the way. All right, do we have any clips, Benjamin?
We do. We have Stu Skinner or Jack Roslovic.
Oh, let's go to your first star of the game. I'm going to go, let's call it Jack Roslovic. Here he is after the Oilers 6-3 win against the Florida Panthers.
And how important it was for you guys to close out this 7-game road trip on a high note.
Yeah, it's always hard to play this team, so it was good to fight one out and get home.
How about chasing Sergei Bobrovsky? Of course, we know how good of a goalie he is on 17
Rare.
shots.
That's rare to do. But might have just not have been, his night for tonight. But, just keep on trying to pound goalies.
What was the focus for you guys coming into this matchup?
Just play our game, try to, have one, last hardworking game to end the road trip, find, a 3-3-1 record and, get home on a good note.
Your top defense pairing in both Bouchard and Ekholm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of great individual efforts tonight. The goalie was awesome. D's played great, and forwards hounded it all night. Had a lot of energy. It felt like for a game like this.
I know Stu Skinner was good all night, but especially in that third period when he's home.
Yeah, amazing. It's awesome feeling to have a goalie back there who's just stands up like that and plays the way he did tonight.
I know you just talked about Ekholm and Bouchard, but what have you noticed from that top pairing, especially as a forward when you play?
Yeah, they've been great. Very predictable. Great in the offensive zone. Great defensively. Just steady.
How would you categorize this road trip? 3-3-1 on the...
It's good. I mean, not exactly what we want, but it's average in some ways. But the length of it and the strength of schedule of it, it's good to come over to the East and do what we did.
Did you see enough from your guys' team game to build off of heading home?
Yeah, for sure. Everything, every game there's something to build off of. Whether it's learning or keeping momentum, and this game is a good momentum builder.
All right, there's Jack Roslovic, a couple of goals, getting the party started early tonight against the Florida Panthers. He scored just 25 seconds in on a softie on Sergei Bobrovsky, who the Oilers managed to chase. 4 goals on him. Tarasov came in, closed the door the rest of the way. You can text us 780-218-9999. We've got a few minutes left. You can jump into the Nasty Chat as well. Nasty Chat being nasty tonight. Let's go to this one out of Vancouver. It says, I appreciate your post-game analysis for Oilers wins and losses. My hockey knowledge is enough to recognize there's more to every goal than the goalie saving the puck or not. But I'm also aware and also interested to hear Cass and the rest of you break down the play of everyone on the ice. Great job, guys. Thoroughly entertaining content. We appreciate that very, very much. And we think we have a good thing here at the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. What a fun night. I will say. Weird. 5 o'clock on Saturday is bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're the early game. They're out east. People get here in the afternoon. Lots of time to have some beverages. And it can get rowdy depending on where you are, what the vibe is like, and how the Oilers can add to that. And we think we've found a nice balance here tonight. How about that? Is that a nice way to put it, Benny?
Sure. A good balance.
Yeah.
Good balance.
Sure. Sure, absolutely. By the way, the Flames lead the Stars. They scored on their 3rd shot of the game. It is Casey DeSmith between the pipes for Dallas. The Oilers will face Dallas at home on Tuesday night. Let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. We're going to hear, it was Stu Skinner, you said, right, Benny?
Yep.
Okay, let's hear from Stu Skinner. Had a pretty big night. I'm going to point this out before we hear from the Oilers netminder, because a lot of times we have to discuss his averages being absolutely poor on most nights, or too many nights. Tonight he made 35 saves on 38 shots. That's good for a .921 save percentage. Pick it up another victory. Stu Skinner, here he is.
Importance of tonight's victory for your club to close out a pretty long road trip for you.
Yeah, I think it was massive. That takes a lot of guts by our team here. It was a really long road trip with some tough travel, some really tough teams to play against. So the fact that we were able to come out and get a win, I believe that puts us at 500 on the road. So you know what, that's really important. This win was huge for us.
I know it was an up and down road trip throughout the course of the 7 games, but what were the positives that you're able to extract from all this? What did you learn about this group over this 2-week stretch?
Yeah, well, we had some really good discussions as a group. We were able to come together, especially after a couple tough losses, and just kind of find our rhythm, start finding our play, and I think that's starting to happen, and it's starting to continue. So, it's our job as a group to keep that going, obviously, going into home here. But we got to get, we got 2 days before our next game, so get a little rest here, get some recovery, and get right back at it.
And how about Jack Roslovic since he's arrived in Edmonton? I know we see the goals during the games, but what's he like in practice? What's he like around the rink? That's allowing him to find this level of consistency?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's a heck of a teammate. Right when he came in, it just felt like he was part of the family right away. And yeah, he's just a really kind-hearted man. So very hard worker, very talented, and what I see from him is just a lot of poise. He's got a lot of poise when he's got the puck. When he doesn't have the puck, he makes smart plays. And yeah, he's just got really good vision out there. So what else can I say here, Tony?
A lot of games that you've played behind Ekholm and Bouchard as a top pairing. Tonight they both factor in with 3 points each. What do you see from them? Like, what's the luxury of playing behind a defense pairing like that so consistently?
Yeah, it's massive. I think tonight with both of them, they were plus 10. That's hard to do. So I think it's pretty incredible seeing those guys get to work. Very hard workers and talented players. Just the way that they grind in all ends of the ice. So I mean that's a huge factor and a huge help to help us win games.
Take us through your approach to the challenge of the third period. I know they had a lot of good looks, but you were dialed right in. Just maybe take us through your effort, especially in the dying stages. Yeah, I mean,
kind of a couple tough breaks in the second period to get them, to make it a tight game. So going into the third period, our job was to push back. It's kind of it's how momentum happens in a game. They had the momentum going into the third. We had momentum going into the second. That's kind of how hockey works. It's a little bit of a roller coaster at times, and we were able to handle it. That's my job. That's everyone's job. And we also got to talk about the PK in the third period, being able to shut them down. Those are huge kills to keep the game where it's at, and then we get an empty net goal and take it down from there.
All right, there's Stu Skinner having himself a good night, way to bounce back, and making 35 saves on the night on 38 shots. That's a .921 save percentage. Listen, we got to bring up when he's bad and talk about those averages, and he deserves some flowers tonight, so we need to bring those numbers up as well. Good night for him. He also brought up these numbers, plus 10 for Ekholm and Bouchard. That plus 10 is relevant because Brian Swain, Statman extraordinaire, you can catch him covering the Edmonton Elks as well, sent this in earlier. He says, Ekholm and Bouchard, both plus 5. That is only the second time since 1988 that two Oilers defensemen have been plus 5 in the same game. The last time it happened, Benny, one of those guys was in this game tonight. It was on November 19th, 2011. Do you know who it might be?
The guy was in the game tonight.
Yeah, for the Oilers. He was with the Panthers tonight. He was with the Oilers back in 2011. We talked about him on the pregame show.
Why am I blanking? I should know this, no?
Number 2, Jeff Petrie. Just celebrated his 1,000th game.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jeff Petrie and Theo Peckham.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
Combined to be +5 each, +10 overall, versus Chicago on November 19th, 2011.
Oh, against Chicago, because they weirdly were good against Chicago during the
very good
period.
against Chicago.
That wasn't the Sam Gagne 5-point night. No, that was later, right?
I believe the Gagne game was like in It was February, I think.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
But there were some wild games against the Blackhawks, especially when the Hawks were in their heyday, winning Stanley Cup and a contender every year. Pardon me. So Theo Peckham and Jeff Petrie against the Blackhawks on November 19th, 2011 was the second time, outside of tonight, since 1988 that the Oilers had two defensemen that have been +5 in the same game. So Swainer, well done, sir. Once again, you're always digging up great stats. We applaud you. And keep those coming into us. We always appreciate it. Ekholm and Bouchard tonight against the Florida Panthers, November 22nd, 2025, +5 each. And then the last time that happened with two defensemen in Oilers history since 1988 was November 19th, 2011. Theo Peckham and Jeff Petrie. Swainer says, anytime you can bring up Teddy Peckman's name, it's a good night. I think Theo, I saw on his Instagram the other day, I think he's playing like ball hockey nationals.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Great guy. There you go.
Ball hockey.
Organized cardio.
There it is.
I had a great conversation with Matt from Paris Jewelers at the client mixer the other night about organized cardio. He's big into that. And he's like, soccer center's close by. One of my teams is playing. I should go watch them after the mixer. And he's like, didn't your brother play? I'm like, yeah, we don't talk about that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, all right. You can sneak in a couple more texts, 780-218-9999. Ooh, Card says, my mom's first time tuning in, fellas. Say hi to Susan. All right. Hello, Susan. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on EST. Shout out to Cards for bringing up Mama Bear. Very nice. I love it. My Mama Bear came home from Europe the other day. I haven't seen her yet, but I chatted with her very briefly. I love it how people are they're sending us texts. Daddy Beckman. Daddy Two Scoops. Oh, boy. All right. And that 604 number with the nice text, that's from Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave, I'm sorry. I've been telling people our database since we switched over. I moved over to the app on my computer.
Right.
And it doesn't have everything saved, so I have to, input it manually. It's very frustrating, but I apologize. And I appreciate the kind words, Uncle Dave. All right. Let's get to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He is community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Ben Thomson, the floor is yours, my friend.
I would be doing a disservice to everyone at BP's because I joked after the first Oilers goal that this player is my player of the game. Look at that play. He's player of the game. And then on the second goal, he made another fantastic play. I was like, whoa, he really should be the player of the game. And then he followed it up with some very solid play after that. I'm giving it to him. Evan Bouchard, player of the game today. Very, very, very solid. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. It would be a disservice if I did not take Bouchard. I said it to everyone there. I'm a Bouchard player of the game. And sure enough, he held it together for the rest of the game. He's turning around, Tom.
Good.
He's turning around, and
that is good. He was playing so bad before.
Yes, he was like I honestly the worst hockey I have seen from a defenseman paid that much. They're just brutal. But It's starting to turn around a little bit for Evan Bouchard. I'm really happy to see that because this team is so much better when they have Evan Bouchard flying. They're so much better because he just makes that first pass every time, hits guys in speed, it allows for more offense. And as long as he's not having those ridiculous gaffes in his own end, and he can stick to making a good first pass, he's an extremely valuable player for this Oilers team. So I thought he had one of those nights tonight. And so for that, he's going to get the player of the game for David Bunting.
Well done, Benny. Dare I even? Dare I even?
Do it. Do it.
You ready to come on? You're very popular tonight. This is Tara. Hey, what are you in the nasty chat? What's your name?
Turning Point Tara.
Turning Point Tara. How was your first GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show experience here at Boston Pizza?
This was wild. This was unlike anything.
Okay. What a wonderful.
This crew is something else. You're something else.
Damn right.
Oh, stop it. Oh, my God. And then what do you have to say to all your fans out there that you've now won over tonight?
Thank you for all your support and Tom's support.
All right. There you go. There's Turning Point Tara, who's here at BP's with us.
I'll be back.
Oh, she'll be back. Oh, boy. There we go. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Okay, give me that headset before I regret my decision. Oh, boy. Everybody's loving it. Just another reminder that the Golf Sim League, the Coors Light Golf Sim League, is kicking up here at Boston Pizza 170th. That gets going December 8th. Sign up begins November 28th. Check out Boston Pizza 170th's Facebook page, and I'm sure they're going to blast it out on their social media on Instagram as well. They were great. Awesome hosts as always. We had a lot of fun. Turning Point Tara. Shout out to Sarah from BP West 170th. And everybody who came out tonight. Corey B's also here. I didn't give him a shout out. Tube Socks, VR Montenegro was here. Cal in the Park, Oil Tin, Dave and Mary are here still. Big Uke is still here. Great turnout. DVD and Larry. There's Tube Socks. He's crushing a beverage. There you go. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. Benny, final thoughts from you as the Oilers win 6-3 over the Florida Panthers.
I'm excited to see what happens on in Edmonton against Dallas. Another good team, another good test. Let's see if they can string 3 good games together. And I just want to say, Tom, thank you so much for the $10,000 donation to my bank account. You're so kind. One of the best people I know. So just thank you so much for that generous donation. I'm sure someone will enjoy that.
What are you talking about?
You get, you're just such a kind and generous guy. Like you're so nice.
I have no clue what is going on. All right,
look at the nasty.
Let's wrap this up. I don't want to see the nasty chat. Okay, so they're cheering about something. That means it's time for us to close out the show. It's been too much fun. This is what happens. This is what happens when you hang out with the EST crew. Good times happen. Everybody will get home safely. We hope you enjoyed the post-game show tonight. It was a lot of fun. Big thank you to Derek Van Diest from NHL.com for hopping on. Big thank you to Turning Point Tara for hopping on, our new friend. And then big thank you to everybody who watched and listened, texted in. We appreciate you. Susan, Cards Mom, welcome. We appreciate that so very much. Hopefully we make you longtime listener and viewer of our fine station. For Matt Kassian, for Ben Thomson, and for everyone that was here tonight, I'm Tom Gazzola saying, have yourselves a wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll see you on Monday.